Well, the Eagles have finally filled their 16-man practice squad as of this morning, signing 3 new players. We'll tell you exactly who they are. Jordan Davis, he looks very, very different from where he was this time last season. An update on the Eagles' punter situation, or lack thereof. And Haason Reddick shoots back at the San Francisco 49ers, who might be in a little bit of trouble. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Thursday. Let's start with the practice squad signings. We've officially filled the 16-man practice squad. They did 13 yesterday and now have signed 3 more players. Let's go ahead and go through it. Starting with defensive tackle Thomas Booker, the 2022 fifth-round pick from Stanford. Played 10 games last season with the Texans. Another defensive tackle to go ahead and add to what is already a strong defensive practice squad. The Eagles always like to have additional defensive tackles, defensive ends, not only on their active roster, but on their practice squad roster as well. They saw something in Thomas Booker that made them think, hey, let's sign him, let's bring him in, let's see if he can go ahead and not only stay on the practice squad, but maybe make it, a push to play on the active roster if injuries were to happen. Very deep at defensive tackle, so not necessarily a big deal that they signed him. He's not going to start anytime soon, but one of the 3 remaining slots that were open has been filled by a defensive tackle. And the next player signed by Philadelphia is Taiwan Mullen, who was an undrafted rookie this season out of Indiana. Did spend a little bit of time with the Chargers in training camp this year, did play in some Charger preseason games, but again, not good enough to make their active roster. He comes over to Philadelphia, maybe a spot that was supposed to be for Eli Ricks. Like Ricks thought was going to, at best be a practice squad player. He outplayed his performance, outkicked his coverage, if you will, makes the active roster. They want to keep a couple of other cornerbacks, including Mekhi Gardner, on their practice squad. So they go out and get Taiwan McMullen. Makes some sense for Philadelphia. More depth at an already very, very deep cornerback slot. Final player they went ahead to sign is a name that you will recognize is LaRaven Clark, the 8-year pro. He was with the Philadelphia Eagles this past year along the offensive line. Much like the defensive tackle position, Philadelphia wants to have as many backups as possible who have especially game experience. You look back at Booker being the D tackle, played 10 games with the Texans last year. LaRaven Clark, 8-year pro, was already in the Philadelphia system, has kind of got familiarity alongside, some of the other offensive linemen, not only during Eagles training camp last year, but obviously being with the football team. This one makes some sense as well. That rounds out your 16-player squad. Now, just to make sure you understand who actually is fully on the squad, I missed yesterday's video. Devin Allen, Britton Covey, Mekhi Gardner, Julian Good-Jones, Teron Jackson, Kyron Johnson, Tristan McMullen, Joseph Ngata, Brady Russell, Aaron Sippos, Brett Toth, Ben Sumerin, Greg Ward, and now the Booker, Clark, and Taiwan McMullen have all made it to 16. Philadelphia essentially is done filling their practice squads. As many slots as you can basically have. It's a 53-man roster, plus 16 practice squad players, fills out at 69 total players, and Philadelphia's hit that threshold, and barring injuries or some other player becoming available, it's basically set in stone who will be on your Philadelphia Eagles roster. Now, one of the players we just talked about in the practice squad is Aaron Sippos, and it's kind of crazy Philadelphia has not done anything at the punter position, including elevating Sippos to the active roster, which they would need to do between now and the first preseason game, 10 days away, by the way. But I went back and listened to Howie Roseman's press conference after the final 53-man roster cuts, and he basically admitted that, yeah, they're going to take a look, but we're going to make a move the next 24 hours. 24 hours has passed. What's Howie going to do now?
No, I think that, anytime we make a decision, we have to go through the worst case scenario and the options and be prepared for those options. And I think not just a punter, but any of the questions that you answer, we go through the possibilities that it doesn't work out exactly the way that we thought. And we make sure we're all on board with those scenarios. And, certainly when we talk about Jake and how good of a player he is, we want him to be in a great spot because he's an important player for this team. And so we'll make sure that's taken care of.
It's starting to feel like Aaron Sippos is going to be the guy. Braden Mann, punter out of Pittsburgh, a lot of people were saying, go sign him. He's released by the Steelers. We tried to claim him on waivers last year. Didn't happen. Well, again, it just happened on Tuesday. Now we're at Thursday afternoon, getting into Thursday evening. By the time you're watching tonight's show, it doesn't feel like the Eagles are really going to go out and make a move. If they were to, it might actually be a trade versus a free agent signing, because as you look on your screen right now, the available free agents aren't that great. I mean, according to SportRack right now, these are your actual free agent punters who are available. Pat O'Donnell, Annie Lee, Thomas Morstead, Matt Hack, Joe Doyle, Ryan Anderson, and Joseph Charlton. There are others, again, who have been released from practice squads, and so this list is not complete. But as of right now, the punters that are available are very, very slim, and if Philadelphia wants to make a move, it might be more advantageous to them if they want a good one to trade for one, which is very, very unlikely and rare because no one ever gives up draft capital for a punter, but if you need one that badly, Philadelphia could. But also, they don't really seem to be kind of worried about the Sippos situation and are going to activate him to the active roster when needed, and he might be your punter for 2023. What do you guys think of that? Let me know down below right now in the comments section. Before we go back to more Eagles news and rumors, let's talk about your wireless bill. If you've ever wondered why your cell phone bill is so darn high, let me tell you about my partner for today's video, Mint Mobile. Now, you may already know about Mint Mobile based on the funny ads that are done by their owner, Ryan Reynolds. Let me quickly tell you how awesome their service is. Now, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or even data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network, and they're able to keep their costs low because they sell direct to you online. Just click the link down below in my description box or go to that little QR code somewhere down in the corner of today's video if you're interested in the best value in wireless. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and a free mobile hotspot. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. I switched to Mint Mobile over here on my iPhone, and honestly, it feels exactly the same, just a lot cheaper. It's incredible nationwide coverage, the text, the speed, the performance, everything that you would expect from a wireless service, but again, for way, way less. And now viewers on my show can get in on this limited time offer where you get the unlimited plan for normally $30 a month. It goes all the way down to $15 a month. Super easy to get started. Just use the QR code currently on your screen or go down below into my description box and click the link. Helps out the channel and gets you guys some really, really great wireless service. Now, we talked all training camp long about improvements from players on the football field, and we saw fast improvements from guys like Nakobe Dean and Josh Sweat, Sidney Brown this year as well, Reed Blankenship. However, I think Jordan Davis, well, he's gotten a little bit of love from us. I don't know if he's gotten the full complement of love from what he looked like from training camp this year to where he looked last year. Listen to Zach Berman on the growth. Quote, Jordan Davis on his growth since week 1 of 2022. I'd say hand placement. It's something I've really honed in on. Hand placement, driving back, knockback, solves 95% of the problems. Something I'm working on, need to be cognizant of, and definitely an improvement. Davis also said about technique, saying, God gave me ability, God gave me talent. It's just refining that. Talent can only take you so far. Technique puts you over the edge. You got guys that should be playing D-tackle that are 6 feet, 5'9". You give them technique, they can hold their own. End quote. Well, a lot of people are waiting to see the big improvement and the big, year from Jordan Davis, although it's only year 2. It seems like this training camp was really the year where he went ahead and buckled down, not just dominating people based on his size, because when you play in the SEC, you can play some bad football teams. Georgia plays UT Martin, for instance, this coming weekend. You can play some nobodies on the offensive line and dominate them when you're Jordan Davis' size. It seems like, though, this year he's taken it a lot more seriously, is in much better shape, and is working on that hand placement to hopefully be way more of a dominant defensive tackle and every down defensive tackle based on what we saw this past season where he played a couple of first down snaps here, a couple of second down snaps there, and that was basically it. Now, the funniest rivalry that we never really asked for, but we've gotten in full force this past offseason has been the 49er-Eagles rivalry, based on the fact that the 49ers have been chirping like crazy ever since being absolutely obliterated by the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field during the NFC Championship game. Well, Haason Reddick was asked about this, and Haason Reddick, the guy who basically ended the 49ers season by knocking Brock Purdy out of the game, he had a pretty funny response. Listen to this, quote, he says that the 49ers NFC Championship game rematch circled on his calendar. That San Francisco game, man, a lot of chirping, a lot of back and forth over social media about what would have, could have, and should have happened. I'm looking forward to that one. No game more than that. He would go on to add that I've seen the things the guys were saying. Debo, Fred, a lot of those guys that came out and talked about it. I respect them. For me, it's like, bring it on. Y'all kept on talking. Y'all talked about this all offseason, throughout the Super Bowl, after the playoff game. It's like, you better be prepared, because I know I will be, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that the team is ready too. Now, what's funny about the San Francisco 49ers is they're still worried about a Week 12 game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They still have not fix their in-house problem, which is 1, quarterback, but 2, the situation right now with their pass rusher, Nick Bosa, and he's still holding out, still waiting for a new contract, and while we expect that to be happening very, very soon, there are starting to be questions being asked about trading him out of the NFC to the AFC, and while Kyle Shanahan said, quote, no, I haven't talked to many people about that, but I know I feel pretty strongly, and I think everyone would agree with that, and of course, GM John Lynch saying no. Real simple, he still remains unsigned. And while you would expect the deal to be done for the 49er pass rusher ASAP, because we're, again, 10 days away from Week 1, and you don't want people holding out of Week 1 because every single game in a 17, 18-game schedule is a lot more important than everyone even realizes compared to the NFL or the NBA or the MLB, they need to get this deal done very quickly, because if they want any chance at not only beating Philadelphia Week 12, but also just being a good team in the NFC, regardless of their quarterback situation, Nick Bosa and his 18.5 sacks last year is a very, very important key for San Francisco. Francisco. And so I like that it's being circled by guys like Haason Reddick, but it also is going to be interesting to see if Nick Bosa gets the mega deal that he wants sooner rather than later to keep that 49er hopes and dreams of finally upsetting the Philadelphia Eagles alive and well. Okay, plenty more stuff happening in the next couple of days and weeks, as in we're getting ready for the actual game. Game prep begins on Monday. We get ready for what's going to be a very, very interesting first week matchup against the New England Patriots. If you guys not subscribed yet, over 17,500 of you have. We approach 18,000 subs, one of the fastest growing channels here on the platform. Make sure you guys give a subscribe. Also turn on the notification bell. Plenty more fun stuff happening, including some DraftKings FanDuel stuff. Stay tuned for that. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show.